We're back again in action for the 2018 Daytona DMAX Championships. It's round 9 here at Milton Keynes, our HQ. I'm Jake Sanson, Spanner's ready beside me. Should be a really interesting race in the heavy enduro. Very interesting results from qualifying.
Yeah, the fog is embracing us like a Mother Nature's embrace, and it's making it very interesting because guys are having to feel it out and the conditions are changing constantly.
You can so tell that you're a DJ in normal life, can't you? Let's catch up with some of the drivers. You've got Alex Pritchard.
I've got Alex Pritchard here, 6th place. But yet you don't seem crushed and disappointed. How come?
No, the first kart I had, it was just cutting out in a couple of the corners. So, you know, it happens. I swapped the battery, didn't change anything. Then I swapped the kart. So 6th place on cold tyres. I've got another half a second. So all the guys in front, I spoke to them already. They're just worried, terribly worried.
So you're coming for them. I noticed you take a lot more curb on turn 10. Are you more aggressive than the other guys through that section?
Definitely, much better.
I'm looking forward to seeing this progress through the field. Good luck, Alex.
Well, some great racing last time out at Clay Pigeon. This man managed to seal the title like 2 months early. We didn't even realise this because we were so busy doing mathematics and gazing through the fog at Clay Pigeon, but you got it wrapped up. I mean, you must be absolutely chilled and relaxed now.
Yeah, very happy, obviously, with the final result. It's been a good season. DMAX has been very good. Met some great people, made some great fins. I don't think I've made any enemies anyway. But yeah, championship's done, still 2 rounds to go. So we're here today, first time on the track. I couldn't test yesterday, so I'm a little bit rusty. So yeah, just going to sit back and enjoy the race.
I love the fact that's your attitude as well. The title's done, but you know, you still want to come, you want to do the last 2 rounds, you want to finish this and basically do a couple of victory dances. Yeah,
definitely, without a doubt, without a doubt. And I want to obviously get a few more points and get a bigger lead as possible to go down in the records, I suppose.
Fantastic. It's great to see you, and hopefully there's another great race for you. Richard, well done, buddy.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I'm here with pole sitter Lee Whitney. Now, Richard there, he's making out like he's Mr. Nicey. To me, he looks a bit shifty. He can't be Mr. Nice Guy, can he?
Unfortunately so, yeah. He's sort of not shown any darker side to his racing yet. So, yeah, unfortunately, yeah, best man for the title, deserved it this year.
You're on pole today, though. Is the plan just to brake check the field, get them spinning behind you and then disappear?
Oh, I don't know. We'll see what we can do. Get my head down, try and get away and go from there. Should have been in pole January. Didn't quite get the lap in with traffic, but this time got a clear run. So, yeah, go see what I can do.
I notice you're very aggressive on entry, like turn 5, you're a lot more sideways than the guys. Is your style suited to this track?
I do go well at Milton Keynes. These low grip conditions suit me as well. When it's cold and greasy in the morning, I get on well with that. So,
because you're sliding around everywhere anyway?
Yeah. Well, I'm usually a bit smoother, but it does seem to warm the tyres up a bit more, I think. So,
who are you most worried about behind you? Pritchard coming from 6th?
Nah, never worried about Alex.
Never worried at all. Good luck, Lee Whitney. Good bunch of lads. They're really enjoying this second half of the season, going into their final stages.
Yeah, there's been great banter. I mean, the title may be decided, but everybody still wants to fight for that 2nd place spot, and it's very close between the guys in that top 6 run. So anything can still happen with 2 races to go. It's time for the Daytona DMAX Heavy Enduro race, the round 9 of the championship to get underway. Lee Whitney on pole position from Adam Nakar, with Rob Bennett and Richard Allen on the 2nd row, Paul Studd and Alex Pritchard from Blaise Cienko and Richard Newton, Tarek Almu and Nick Rowland round out the 10, from Dean Walker and Robert Pertak, Darren Hughes and Peter Hayes, Steve Lindley and Darren Holliday, Vince Cogswell and Mark Ford, from Vinod Hirani, Lee Schnitzler, Gary Martin, Steve Hussey and George Kenning. 23 karts on the grid, and obviously the battle for the championship is done and dusted as far as Richard Allen is concerned, but that 5-man squabble for 2nd place in the points still has 2 rounds of battle to come.
Championship aside, these guys always put on a good fight, so I'm really looking forward to seeing the tussle coming up through, especially Pritchard, because he feels that he's out of place today.
And it's going to be an interesting one because obviously with the fog being in the air and the damp conditions of the circuit making it very greasy, very slippery, it's not quite wet conditions, but it's definitely not very bone dry either. So it's going to be very, very tricky to see how things are going to operate in this race. And the circuit's going to get faster as the race progresses. So we'll see some brilliant jockeying for position to and fro.
I think the line's going to change. The fastest way to approach the corners is going to change, and it's going to be about who adapts that quickly. Lee Whitney, I think, has got a massive advantage. He's always on that edge of grip and adhesion anyway, so these conditions might suit him.
And of course, it's the first time that the championship has raced here since back in February, so they've got a lot of they basically had an awful long time to wait for another opportunity to go racing on this HQ circuit, Daytona Milton Keynes, and it's going to be a very exciting battle.
Do you know what I like about the heavy category compared to the others? They know how to do a rolling start.
The karts are now making sure that the tyres and brakes are up to temperature. It's obviously very, very tricky because you've got that fine balance between overheating the tyres and making sure that the car is basically in position. So you need to make sure that you've done enough work, but you don't want to overheat the tyres and the brakes through this first rolling lap. So they come off the final turn, and it's going to be a very exciting start from the front. Lee Whitney's task is very clear. Get out in front and disappear from the front. And here we go racing. An hour of the Daytona Milton Keynes circuit to come for the Daytona DMAX Heavy Enduro category. And Whitney has gone into the lead, no problem at all from the off. Adam Nakar slotting into second position as Richard Allen is now battling away for position. Bennett has come through up into second position, to be fair. So Bennett is now charging after Whitney. And with Bennett second in the points, in behind Lee Whitney on the road, he is going to want to make light work of this battle.
Pritchard was very aggressive into turns 2 and 3 and 4 as well, actually. He's managed to bully his way from 6th into 4th place, and that was all from sticking his nose in and taking it.
And you know what? Alex Pritchard's really evolved in that sense over the year as well, because he was a little bit more laid back at times. He was trying a little bit to be more nice, more pleasant through the course of those first few laps. Now he's really found his killer instinct, and he's starting to pull off those moves with a little bit more verve and vigour, and it's really helping in terms of his results.
He's definitely up for it today. He physically threatened me before the start.
He did indeed, yes. So Whitney leading the way, second position, that is Bennett. And now Pritchard is in 4th, but not for long, because Richard Allen on the inside and has taken on the 3.
Oh, I'm really sorry. I like Richard Allen a lot, but that was a very, very aggressive and optimistic move up the inside of Pritchard and ended up collecting Bennett as well.
Well, so Bennett's been able to get through. I think it's Nakar. Nakar's ended up coming off, so Allen and Nakar together.
He touched Bennett on the way through, but Bennett did get away.
Oh, we've got a spin. That is that Blaise Sienko that's gone around. That's a very strange position to have gone off there on the exit of turn 1. So very strange manoeuvre there, and unfortunately it is the height of autumn, so that's brought an awful lot of leaves onto the circuit on the exit of turn 1. So the next lap could be very interesting for a couple of drivers, but that just shows you how tricky the conditions are with there's a very minimal amount of grip.
Turn 1 in the absolute dry, you can get through there 2 abreast. But somebody's got to give, and it's not bone dry out there. So that's a place where you're going to have to compromise. It's turned into an overtaking corner in these conditions, and it looks like he's missed out. If you hit that curb on the outside, it does punish you.
So Whitney out in front, Bennett in second, Pritchard now third as a result of that incident between Allen and Nakar. And in P4, that is Paul Studd. So Paul Studd running very well. It looks as though Tarek Almu has made his way past Blaise Sienko, and Dean Walker is in the mix there as well. So a very interesting start to this race from the front end of the field. And look, everybody having to take avoiding action to get past that huge pile of leaves. Well, not everybody has, and that has cost a place actually. So Paul Studd battling away with Tarek Almu. They come up over the crest, and now Alex Pritchard is raining down on Rob Bennett's parade. He's really found some speed in the last couple of laps and is chasing him down.
Whitney's even sideways into turn 9.
Yeah, that's his way, sideways all the way out into the final turn and over the line. And the big threat now is coming from Alex Pritchard as they go through turn 1. Rob Bennett in second position is not going to be very comfortable there for very long. 4th place, Paul Studd. Tarek Almu still there in 5th with a lot of space to gain. And the yellow flags are down at 6 and 7 again, so there's not going to be any overtaking there.
Do you know what I like about this track is it's not a track where you can just get past by being faster. You have to make the move happen. You have to make a lunge into turn 2, a lunge into 4, a lunge into 5.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very technical circuit, and you can't really allow a mistake to creep in because you will be punished for it for the next 2 or 3 corners, and that can cost you anywhere between 4 or 5 places if you're in the wrong position at the wrong time.
Did I sound like I knew what I was talking about there? Jamesy told me.
Absolutely. And he's right. Absolutely right. So up
yellow
to
flags?
Yep, yellow flags, stationary yellows. I think we're under caution. So who is it that's not come round, or how much damage is there to the barriers? Because if there's a big amount of damage to the barriers, then obviously the race circuit is not safe. So we're under stationary yellows at the moment. Massive
shout out to the lad who just took turn 9 flat out, but with one hand in the air to make it look like he was slowing down. That takes some skill.
I think that's George Kenning, actually. Oh, it might have been.
I wasn't going to tell tales. I wasn't going to say his name.
Yeah, it was definitely George Kenning, but I think Steve Hussey has had a big accident on the far side of the circuit, and that's why we're under cautionary yellows at the moment.
And it's the full course yellow, so in theory, they're meant to maintain the same gap, or is it? It never happens, does it?
And no, that's the thing. I think
Racing drivers cheat.
good to know.
Cheat. Right, okay. I was in a simulator getting some coaching from a Le Mans podium winner.
You know that sim racers cheat as well.
Yeah, but this guy is like,
Okay.
you know, a real racing car driver. But in the sim, he was saying to me, no, more curb, cheat. And he ended up yelling at me saying, you're a racing driver, cheat, we all do it.
Delightful. I guess it is going to be Steve Hussey making his way back to the pits, whether he'll start again. There he is running down the back of the wall, actually. You can see him along the back straight.
Oh, he's jogging, he's got a jog on.
Yep, he has got a jog on his stride, so he's going to try and get himself back to the pits, hopefully, to get into the race once again.
And if the video director's got anything about him, there'll be Chariots of Fire music playing as we watch him running down the back
Well,
straight.
that's Ben James. You know, he'll know. Green Bennett's going to try and make a move to the inside. Whitney goes a little bit wide, and that's enough for Pritchard to get up the inside of Rob Bennett. Pritchard now to the right-hand side into the final turn of our race leader, Whitney. Bennett's going to get up the inside nearly of both of them, but he has to hang back in the end. Pritchard now second in behind Whitney as they come up towards turn 2. Pritchard's going to try and hold the inside line, half to attack and half to defend. The leading three absolutely together. Pritchard going for the move, not yet.
I think what's clear is Whitney is in defensive mode, so that's causing chaos behind.
And Bennett's got through. Bennett's managed to get past Pritchard as a result of the mistake. Pritchard's going to try and come straight back at him, and Paul Studd in fourth position is now part of the battle as well.
It's a massive opportunity for Paul Studd. Lee Whitney's handing him the opportunity to fight for the podium.
So this is all of a sudden now Lee Whitney disappearing off into the distance while Bennett and Pritchard scrap away for that second place with Paul Studd in the mix as well. So it's perfect as far as they're concerned.
I think Bennett and Pritchard are smart enough to know that if Whitney starts pulling away, they calm down, close that gap back up.
They come into the hairpin, still quite close together. Bennett's going to try and make the move up the inside of Richard Allen to lap him, and he's done that. Allen's riding the exit curb. And this could be, oh no, sorry, that is the battle behind. That's Paul Studd trying to get the move on Bennett. Studd is through. Almu's through as well, past Richard Allen. So now Richard, if I'm you, Rich, I'm going to sit there in 6th position on the road, as it were, and just follow these guys in. But now Bennett is going to try and make the move on Studd into turn 4. Oh, very good move, but neither of them is prepared to give best to the other.
Pritchard's taken the lead, and there was contact on the exit of turn 4 as they disappear into turn 7. Pritchard is now ahead. Can Whitney hold on?
Here comes Bennett for a move up the inside into turn 2. Tarek Alman's not giving him any space. And round the outside of both of them comes Richard Allen to unlap himself.
Oh, but Bennett makes another lunge down the inside of turn 4. Actually, Bennett pulled out on the exit of that 2-3 complex, which was very gentlemanly, or they'd have all been sideways.
Bennett back through on Tarek Alman at the end of all that. And as a result, we've now got Richard Newton and Dean Walker having caught them up. So this is now a 4-kart battle with 5 drivers in the mix. Richard Allen just trying to stay out of trouble to a certain extent, as again Bennett and Almu scrapping away. This is an absolute dogfight now.
It looked like Bennett gave the place back there, so whether Bennett had judged himself to have come through too roughly.
Lee Schnitzler has come up through the field absolutely incredibly. He's like a jackrabbit, up to 10th place behind Dean Walker, Nick Rowland and Peter Hayes. Lee Schnitzler, where did he start? About 18th or 19th on the grid, and he's already gone through half his opposition.
I know it's hard to keep up, but Rob Bennett now has that place back again from Tarek Almu.
So Bennett into position there in front of Almu, and then right in behind them, as we mentioned, is Richard Newton, having caught them all up. Walker, Rowland, Hayes and Schnitzler having a great tussle further back as well. Richard Allen's actually going to make the overtaking move on Bennett. Well, Rob's not going to like that. Richard, you're a lap down, mate. Get over yourself. Let me through.
Well, Rob Bennett, is obviously, as we watch him take it back on the outside of turn 1, I think Richard Allen had to sacrifice quite a lot of speed to make that overtake come off. But Rob Bennett's having to go very defensive round turn 9-10.
Well, Richard's having a play. This is the thing. But as far as Rob Bennett is concerned, he's ruining Rob's race by doing so, because he's trying to catch up to Studd. Richard Allen knows I'm not going to win the race now, so I just want to have a play. And he's perfectly within his rights to do that if he's carrying that sort of speed, and we know he can. He is the champion for 2018. One of the things I love about Daytona DMAX is not just at the front where there are great battles, it's also in the midfield, and you can pretty much be anywhere on the circuit and be in a mix with somebody. You're never going to have a dull race in DMAX.
I don't think you'd be very good.
Well,
I think you'd be just getting lapped 5 times without a crash. You keep saying you're good.
3 times, please.
Then you dip out of the missed Apex events.
3 times,
You never show. Right, okay, tell you what, I'll take you on, I'll ballast up to you. Is there enough ballast in DMAX to get me up to the same weight as Jake Sanson?
Oh, you harsh man. Bennett is going with Alan as they go through the first corner. Stud is there in 3rd position. Is Bennett going to make the move? Stud is going to hang on. Well, Stud, of course, is leading the super heavy category, but Bennett is trying his best to come through, but he's let Richard Allen slip by. So Richard Allen has gone through. I wonder if Richard's tactic is, don't worry, mate, I'll sort out Paul Stud for you, and then you can battle with me to the end of the race. Have a look at the battle for 6th position. Dean Walker fights his way back into 6th position on Richard Newton, and these two squabbling through turn 2 as they head up through 3. Newton is going to try again. Walker protecting the inside line as if he's flirting with a white line through. Now they come off the turn, but he's going to get the undercut. This is going to be a good move from Newton. Shut the door. Nicely done from Walker. Newton gives him a little love tap as they come side by side off turn 6. Up towards the long sweeping right-hander and right on the outside. Walker finds the grip. This is going terribly, terribly, terribly wrong for Lee Whitney. He really needs Pertak to get out of the way.
Yeah.
And he's done it a corner too late, really.
He had to slow down a lot on the exit of turn 10.
So the gap was 2.5 as they come through. It's 3.6. He's lost a second,
What's
stuck
the
behind
rules?
Pertak.
Is there a blue flaggy thing, or
Sort of.
gentleman's agreement to be
I
ignored?
think it is more towards gentleman's agreement, really. I think these guys are basically very much of the attitude that, well, we're racing drivers, we're not idiots, we know what we're doing. And as you predicted, Spanners, there is Blaise Cienko causing a bit of an issue for Alex Pritchard.
Go on, Blaise.
Exactly as we predicted it might. Cienko is causing a problem for Pritchard. Pritchard's having to make a late lunge into the hairpin.
Oh, the whacked finger.
Yep, that is the, well, that's the Brandon Lee esports finger, isn't it?
That's you.
Don't you dare.
That's you told Blaise. To be fair, Blaise did take quite a wide line on the exit of the final turn there.
They've lapped it up, everybody up to, I think, Gary Martin and Lee Schnitzler, who seems to have faded a little bit back to 13th again. But full credit to him for getting up into the top 10 in the early stages. Here we go. Stud and Almu have now got Walker and Nakar right in behind them. And it is a 4-way scrap at turn 10. So Tarek Almu trying to get past Stud. Tarek Almu using way more curve than I ever would through the braking zone to the final corner. And as they come through onto the start-finish straight once again, this is going to be a really interesting battle between these guys. 4 of them now fighting for 4th position. Stud, Almu, Walker, Nakar. Up at turn 4, on the run towards the hairpin for the right-hander at 5, side by side for 4th position. Stud cuts across on Almu. Almu's trying to get the undercut off the curb and try and get up the inside for 6. He has to bail out of it. Walker and Nakar are just sat there watching it all unfold. Go on, guys, keep battling. We want to protect the places away from both of you. So, oh, and a spin out of turn 9. That looks to me like Nick Rowland. I think Nick Rowland has gone around there. Oh, 4th position, side by side. Sorry, Spanners. Stud is having all sorts of problems from Adam Nakar now. They very nearly connected through 9 as they went side by side. Now Nakar trying in the final turn, not able to get there. Almu's going to get a run on the inside line as they squeeze up towards turn 1. Almu has to bail, but I tell you what, Stud and Nakar side by side through 9. I'm so glad for Nakar that he bailed out. That could have been horrifically bad.
Oh, 5 minutes. It might not quite be enough to catch Whitney and
Pritchard.
Pritchard.
Oh, side by side banging wheels again, and they've drifted out wide for 4th position. That is Stud and Nakar. They've gone back down to 6th and 7th. Walker's through to 4th, Almu's through to 5th. Very tight battle between those two, and both drivers gesticulating to the other. What are you playing at, Sunshine? I'm racing you. You didn't give me enough space, bucko. So they are down to 6th and 7th place now. Up in 4th, that is Dean Walker, who's just made up 4 places pretty much in one fell swoop.
If we asked them afterwards and he was actually saying bucko under his helmet, then I officially announce you a commentary genius.
There's not many words you can use in motor racing commentary for that scenario. You have to pull out what you can that's clean.
So who's your driver of the race then?
I think at this stage you've got to say it might be Dean Walker, putting himself into 4th position, reading the traffic very well indeed. He has suddenly come into this race fairly quietly and positioned himself in P4. It's not easy when you've got some very big names competitively trying to work their way through. But Dean Walker has never panicked, he's never pushed over the limit, he's kept the kart smooth, he's got the rhythm, he's got the composure, and he's found himself in P4 when he started a long way down the field. I think Walker's my man for it.
I think it's got to be Pritchard coming from 6th place, because this has got job done written all over it. into fourth, very aggressive on the first lap. Managed to quite skillfully avoid Alan torpedoing down the inside of him, and then he's just been job done and he's managed the pace. I'm starting to think now that he's looking at Whitney behind him and managing that pace, because I don't think Whitney can touch him that right now. So yeah, for me, it's got to be Pritchard. Epic drive.
You've got to say at this rate of the season, Alex Pritchard is threatening to close in and then pass Rob Bennett for second place in the Drivers' Championship as well.
That is getting quite emotional. There's hands waving everywhere.
Yep, and Stud's gone back through on Almu. Nakar sat at the back of the pack, wants to move. Here comes Almu on the inside of Stud. Manages to get the place, even blends out on the throttle, but that's enough for Nakar to get past both of them. So there's not a lot he can do. Stud takes Almu back again. This is almost getting personal between these three. Look, you just let Walker run away with it. So where is Alex Pritchard? Because he is not far away from starting his final lap. He has done an absolutely amazing job. Here he comes. When he comes over the line this time, I think he's actually going to have 2 laps in hand, looking at the time we've got left, because they're currently setting 109s. So he's going to have a handful of seconds left, and he can't afford to ease up because Lee Whitney is only 2.5 seconds back. Is Whitney now basically on fastest lap mode? Well, he's definitely going quicker than Whitney. He's just chipped it down to 2.5, but he's got to make 2.5 seconds in 2 laps. It's not going to be enough.
Well, you can't relax. I mean, that's a half spin, isn't it? A little half spin, losing the back end a little, and Whitney's right on top of you.
That is a good point. You know, Pritchard is obviously trying to work his way naturally through this field, but if there's just one clatter into the side of an opponent, that's it.
Obviously, you won't know this, but when you're leading a race and it comes to the final lap,
no,
you don't know whether to compromise on your flat-out pace. When you've been pushing so hard, do you just keep pushing on that final lap? And you might find that actually by easing off, you lose your rhythm, and that can put you in trouble.
You've been speaking to Bradley Philpott again, haven't you?
Well,
I can tell.
I'm sort of thinking I might even be better than Bradley.
Oh, I see.
Now
I've
won a race at Daytona.
Good to know. Alex Pritchard flying through turn 9 as he approaches turn 10. They have got one back marker in front of them, and that is Peter Hayes. So this race potentially could be dictated. Oh no, that's not Richard Allen in 10th position. It is Richard Allen in 10th position. How has he fought his way back that far up the field? Goodness me! It's a new Alex Pritchard, an invigorated Alex Pritchard with more metal, more muscle and more gusto, and it's been brilliant to watch in the end of the season. He takes the checkered flag, the Applewood posse goes bananas as over the line. It is a victory for Alex Pritchard once again. He is like a starving man who's just figured out how to break into the fridge. He just keeps on winning. He's absolutely on it at the moment, Pritchard. He cannot be defeated in his current form. Whitney brings the gap down to less than 2 seconds. Great effort from Whitney. Pritchard had him nailed throughout. Rob Bennett will be frustrated with 3rd position today. He had the pace to win. So in 4th position, Dean Walker is going to come through, and he has well and truly stolen 4th place from his opposition. Brilliantly done there. Adam Nakar in 5th position from Paul Studd and Tariq Almu. 3 very frustrated warriors there.
I think you need better similes.
Good to know.
Because fridges aren't often locked. That's my main problem with that one.
Fair enough. Good to know. Nick Rowland, 8th position as he comes through. That's 2nd in the super heavy category. Peter Hayes comes through in 9th. And what a fight back from Richard Allen, over a lap down, and fights his way through the field with a fastest lap of 1:08.5 to finish 10th overall. Phenomenal from the new champion.
Paul, you're really mixing it with those guys in that category today. How did it feel?
Yeah, it's great. Obviously, this is my home track. Haven't done many rounds this year, so thought I'd just come up and just enjoy myself.
How did the conditions change? Because it was quite foggy and greasy early on.
Yeah, I find the greasy conditions suit me better. So as the track dried out, obviously they started catching me, but I managed to hold on quite well, I think.
Are you going to be there for round 10 as well? How do you think you'll go there?
I'm not sure, we'll see.
Thank you very much. Congratulations, well done. Great victory there in the super heavyweight category. Then we've got a man who was in the wars and still dissecting the race. We've got Rob Bennett. Rob Bennett, first of all, congratulations on being a parent. That's what you're supposed to say. Obviously, do you feel it's affected your pace in any way?
No, I don't think so. No. Well, possibly over last round. Last round, my wife was due pretty much on that date, so my mind was wandering a bit. It was elsewhere. So yeah, nice to get back on the podium, and yeah.
Well, you seem super focused today. You had 2 significant run-ins with Richard Allen. Firstly, on the first lap on turn 10. Tell us a little bit about that.
To be honest, I can't really remember. I know Richard's super quick, so I wanted to try and at least hold him back for a couple of laps, and then if I could, if he did get past me, stick with him just to see what lines he was taking to maybe get a few hints.
Obviously, he was a lap down when he came out of the pits, but still fighting you really hard. Were you not tempted just to let him go?
I had no idea he was lap down.
Oh, right, so you thought you were fighting for position.
Yeah, no idea. No.
That explains a lot. Thank you very much, Rob Bennett. A great third place. Let's catch up with our pole sitter and the second place man, Lee Whitney. I think very aggressive from Pritchard there. Was it a case of trying to just catch him through the back markers in the end?
Yeah, obviously Alex's pace was very good today, so yeah, he didn't put a foot wrong. I tried as I could for the first 25 minutes. Well, I've tried all race. The first 25, 30 minutes, he was a bit slow through 9, which gave me a chance to hang on to him, and then he put his big boy pants on and went through a bit quick for the rest of the race, and he just started edging away from me then. So
I noticed you were really close through turns 9 and 10 in the early part of the race, and then suddenly a big gap appeared. What happened there?
he just started edging away. I don't think there was any one instant that he went away. My kart struggled a bit with back markers. It didn't want to come up the hill, so I got back markers sort of waving me past, and then eventually they have to hit the brakes to get me past up the hill.
As it dried up completely, did that sort of come away from your driving style a bit?
I think so, yeah. I was looking forward for a cool, moist morning, but yeah, it didn't quite go that way, unfortunately. But yeah, Alex drove brilliantly, didn't put a foot wrong. Right man won.
Lee Whitney, thank you very much. A great second place. Now I'm going to tentatively approach Alex Pritchard and see. Okay, so I did say, why are we interviewing 6th place on the grid beforehand? And you threatened me with physical violence, but you had a twinkle in your eye. I think you knew you had the pace to challenge.
I'm always good around here. I like Milton Keynes, and I think that the mocking that you tried to do before we had the interview, I just wanted to show you how wrong you actually were. And this whole commentating thing, it's been going well so far, but I think there is room for improvement there. You've done well this year.
You put so much fear into me, I might just quit and miss the last round. But honestly, that battle with Lee Whitney, you managed to get past him. Actually, you were very aggressive at the start through turns 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, I'm usually quite good at 2, 3 and 4, and I always set up 4 with 2. If I ever see a back end come out at 2, 4 is automatically done. So a few of the guys were a bit tentative. They hadn't warmed the tyres up enough. I know Adam Nakar struggled a bit on the first lap, but I'd noticed he hadn't warmed his tyres up enough. I'd really aggressive on the warming up, and I just believed in the kart and threw it past everybody.
We believe in you, Alex Pritchard. Great race win. Thank you very much. That was actually an epic heavy race there. A really good performance. I know you had another driver of the day, but for me, Alex Pritchard stormed through at the beginning when it counted. Job done.
Yeah, absolutely. Alex Pritchard did do a good job. I'm going to give full credit to Dean Walker. Really deserved this fight through to 4th position. We've only got one more round of the championship, of course, to go. The number below is the one you want to call if you want to get on the grid. DaytonaMax.co.uk on the website if you want to book in. It's your last chance in 2018.